So, welcome everybody to the session 1 of the Unity Study Jam. We'll be going through the introduction of Unity, basically making you understand the basics of the Unity editor. So, let's start with opening a project first. You can choose different kind of templates. Basically, it can be 3D, 2D, 3D mobile, 2D mobile. We'll be going with 3D as of now, and then go and give a project name, whatever name you want to give. Choose a location and you can continue to cloud, but for now we'll deselect that option and then create a project. See, like the first project may take some time to load in that sense, or every time you open that it may take some time to load, so be patient with it because we'll be loading all the files necessary to build a full-on game. So that's the reason it takes a good amount of time based on the specs you have in your laptop or PC. So be patient basically. So this is the basic scene you have, and this is what you will be working at. This is the Unity editor. We'll be explaining the different windows that you have in the Unity editor. You can take a screenshot of this. This is a scene window. You can change your views in this. Whatever you do comes into here. You can change your view from 3D to 2D using that tool. Basically, what we'll be doing, this is the thing that you will be working on. Any object, camera, lighting, whatever it is. Now, these are the tools to manipulate your objects. Scale them, rotate them, or change their location. These are very crucial to changing your object size or object position in that sense. This is the hierarchy window and it shows all the things you have in your sample scene, be it be camera, a light, or you can add objects also using the plus button. Lights, audio, video, UI toolkit, camera, even the codes you can add. This is basically showing whatever thing you have in your scene, in your sample scene or the scene you're building. This is the inspector and let's click on camera and it shows all the properties of the camera. You have transform and you have all the camera settings. Yeah, also you can add extra components also using this. Scripts and codes can be added from there on. This is the transform position XYZ of the light and the intensity, brightness of the light, color of the light you can change also from here on. And this is a project window. Project window stores whatever files, whatever assets, whatever materials, whatever codes that you have in your scene, whatever you're using, you can navigate through the folder and files using this project window. And this is a sample scene we are working on, by the way. You can right click and create basically, add and create whatever you want from here on. And this is the game window. So whatever you are building, so whatever you see through the camera here, you can do like this is what you see in the game window. You can open up a simulator also, so you can choose whatever phone you want to play your game on and you can play the game and go to the scene that you built upon in this is basically the testing area. So before we start, try to take a screenshot of the shortcuts. We'll be using this to move through the scene window. So pause and take a screenshot. Now let's move on to the tools. This is the move tool first. This is to change the location on any one of the axes, be it X, Y, or Z, wherever you want to move it. And change the position here. Change the position of the light also you can change. Next comes rotation. Rotation basically means changing the rotation of the object based on x-axis, y-axis, or z-axis, based on whatever axis you want to rotate on. So you can changing the like if after change while changing the light, you're changing the day and night also. That's it. So this is basically the scaling tool. Scale on x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, on all three axes, changing the shape of the object. And now this is the transform tool. Transform tool basically what it does is all the controls in one place. You can scale, you can move, you can rotate, you can do all of that in one place. And by the way, see on the right hand of the screen, like an inspector, you can see that you are changing the XYZ values of position, rotation, and scale also after, while changing this. So it's kind of cool, right? This is the will reset all the values basically. Whatever values you have changed, will reset all the values. And by the way, don't forget to save whatever you have done as necessary. Also, instead of just resetting, and then you can do Control Z, and it will change all of them to the default values. Basically, undoing the changes whatever you have done. Yeah. So this is me panning through the scene. Let's add a cube around here. We have added a cube with the plus sign, a 3D object basically, and then let's move it. If you click on the cube sign, it will just zoom into it and focus on the object. This is me using the scroll wheel and using the scroll wheel to just move through the scene here. Just reset the values. This is in the base position. Trying to just navigate, trying to see how do you navigate through the scene basically. And that this is a very important step to build whatever you want to build. Let's move the directional light, the sun. You can change values and move also. You don't have to manually do it. You can give values and they will move by themselves in the scene window as you can see. Y values, X values, whatever you want. Change the Z value here also. It will basically go up from the origin to one place higher. Change the rotation also using this. Give the angle and it will change the angle of that. See, it's changing as 45 degrees with respect to the Y scale, 45 degrees with respect to the Z scale. Can change the scales also by the way. You can keep it 0, keep it 1. If you keep it 0, then it will become a plane, right? Let me just change the view so we understand, we can see what we are working on exactly. Uh, so basically x1, y1 and z2, I'll change it to the default cube itself, 111, one scale on all of it. See, it is changed to 2 on the y scale. Increase the size and y scale on the y coordinate itself only. Now let's add something to this. Let's add a material. We'll go to the assets bar, right click, create a new folder first. We'll rename it as material. We'll be adding a material or color to the cube. Now how to do that? You first create a folder, double click on it, right click, you go to create again, and now you click on material. You can see in the inspector window that you have all the properties that you can change in the inspector window, with the color, metallic or whatever. Just click on that. We'll change the put some random color on it, be red, purple. I will give purple here. And drag and drop the material onto the cube, and this applies the material base. We have a material texture and it puts, if you drag and drop, you can put it on the cube itself, and then you can manipulate the material color, material texture from here on. You don't have to put it again and again. You can just change normally from there on. If you click on the material again, you have a lot more other things. You have things like you can change the metallic texture also here. So you have things like metallic, you can increase it, decrease it. You can increase the smoothness also, which basically changes how does your object looks like in the scene and how does it object look like in the game. You can give values also. You can change the source maybe to different kind of metallic. The source basically. add in a cylinder. So basically before we start that, basically what we'll be doing is that we'll be putting these objects onto a plane. We'll learn how do you properly place objects, be it a cylinder or a cube, onto a plane, right? And you can see a different kind of material on the cube here. We'll see how do you create that material in a later stage of the video, in this video itself. Let's reset all the values. Remove the cylinder. Let's pan and go to a suitable view. It's better to use a mouse, by the way, to do this because it will be much more handy. You'll be able to easily navigate through the scene. We are rotating the cylinder here. Let's see if it's okay. Yes, it's rotated correctly. We'll create one material for the cylinder itself. We'll change the color. Let's give it green and then apply the material to the cylinder. Yep, that's it. We have a new material for the new color for the cylinder in that sense. Let's go to the scale tool. We'll scale it up based on, we'll test out the different scaling options that we have. You can scale it on the y axis, on the z axis, on the y, on the x axis, however you want it to be. And this is, by the way, this tool is very important because you'll be there. Basically, you can see there's a kind of a wireframe around the object that you have, the cylinder, and now you can scale on one side also using the vertices, or you can take an edge and scale on all the sides in that sense. So you take one vertices here, basically you take one vertices here, and you see you can scale it up however you want to be. You don't have to do it individually in that sense, so change the values manually. These are a very important options and tools that you need to master before you even if you start before if you start building a game. You have to master these tools first. Yeah, so spend some time understanding how they work. Be comfortable with it. That's very necessary. Right click. You can add a lot more things here. Light, audio, video. You have UI toolkit. I've seen this before. It's with camera and all. We'll create a 3D object. We'll take a plane. See, we have a plane that the object rests on now, but it's not properly placed, right? So we'll try to properly place it. We can do it manually, of course, but keep an eye on the the XYZ coordinates we have in the inspector window, so a better idea of how you're positioning it. Let's click on the plane maybe. Actually, we can we'll go to the default values itself. Okay, go to the default values. Let's click on the plane. And I can see in the plane that it's not in the perfect position, so we'll reset it to 0, 0, 0, the best position basically. And we'll increase the y coordinate for the cubes to put it in the correct position. And for this cylinder, we'll manually do it, so we have a better control on how do we position the cylinder on the plane. Yeah, looks correct. Looks correct. You have to change it like in a minute changes you have to do so it's on the plane itself and not below or in the middle of it. I mean, you can put it in the middle of it also. I mean, let's create a new 3D object actually. Let's create a sphere and let's put it in the here somewhere. Yes. And what we'll do is that we'll put it in the middle of the plane, and so it looks like it's protruding or something. We'll apply the already existing material. It looks like a dome or kind of maybe kind of a stone or something. So if you have to model something, you can do it also like this one. Always not that you have to put it on that. And let's move on to how do you give the material for the this thing for the cube that we made. So how do you import a material from the internet and put it on whatever object you have created? Let's go to, so you can search of gift wrapper texture. Go to Google Chrome or whatever is a preferred browser. Search gift wrapper texture, and there you have it. Basically, click on the images, click on more, and after you have clicked on more, okay, we'll go to tools, go to type, and then go to color, select a color maybe. You can click a size also, whatever size you want. Select this large as of now, so we have a better surface to work on in that sense. And we'll download any of them. So this is a texture that you're downloading. It will be an image, but then it's an image that will work as a texture. We'll download this. Right click, save image as, and yeah, we're saving as a JPEG image, and you can share, download it wherever you want to. I'm downloading it in the assets folder. It's a very big name. We'll just shorten it up. It's easier to locate. So you have downloaded it. Let's move on to the Unity scene. Let's see where it is downloaded though. Okay. Now there's a nice thing you can do. Quite a nice thing you can do. So whatever texture and all you have in Unity, you want in Unity, you can just drag and drop from your file. So from your file explorer, basically, you can just click on the texture on the material you want, and you can just drag and drop into your projects folder. So it'll be easier for you. You don't have to do the search it out manually and then put it in again. You can just drag and drop. That's a better way to do it, right? Let's So basically, what we are doing is that we're taking the texture and putting it in the main material of it. Along with the color, we already have the color, but we wanted a texture. So for that texture, we're putting it in the albedo. Basically, we're dragging it up and putting it into there. So the texture and the color are both used at the same time. See, we have texture and the color on the cube, right? So you can make it a bit metallic, so it looks nice, kind of shiny. You can decrease the smoothness or keep it as it's needed. Now to make the texture we had in the earlier cube, in the earlier scene that we saw, we had a texture, right? Now to make that, let's see how it looks. It looks good, right? Let's zoom into it. It looks good, right? So we'll go to the texture in that sense, and then we'll change the tiling of it. Tiling basically increases the number of textures that you have on it. We'll give equal numbers on X and Y, so you have a nice texture basically. See, looks nice and similar to what we had in the previous scene. Looks similar to the cube, doesn't it? So yeah, that's it. So see you guys in the next session. And in the meantime, any doubts, you can put it in the WhatsApp group.